Hey guys, Sean Hammond with Premier Guitar. We are at Winter NAMM 2018 in Anaheim talking to Adrian from Orange Amplification. Adrian, thanks for joining us.
How you doing? You having a good show?
Doing well. It's quiet in here, so it's a nice respite. You've got two new amps you're showing us right now. Tell us about the first one.
Okay, the one you just heard is the Brent Hinds Terror, and that is a tiny Terror type amp with 2 channels. But it's also voiced, it's custom voiced to suit Brent Hinds. That was like, you know, he's happy with it. So that's his signature model. You know.
Do you mind telling us what sort of things he requested in the voicing of it?
Yeah, he wanted it to kind of sound a bit more JMP-ish kind of thing, you know. Yeah.
So was that with like less high end and more rounded off mids or something? Or?
No, actually more upper mid. He wanted the gain to work in the way that he was used to it working on one of those, like where it kicks.
One of the actual sort of response in the knob.
Because this amp is bright as soon as it comes in, and then it goes crunchy really quick. And as you turn the gain round past halfway, it starts to fatten up, you know. And obviously when you're on full gain, it's probably a bit too fat, you know. It works in that way rather than the traditional Orange way of it being clean up to about 3, and then the rest will be sort of variations of soft saturation British crunch into total saturation when the gain's turned right up. Okay.
Now it's foot switchable, right?
Yeah, the channels are, yes. Okay. It's combined with a natural channel, which is just one stage.
And so there's a volume for the natural channel, and
just the volume.
And they share the EQ, or does it not even have an EQ?
It's one stage. Oh, wow. Yeah. So it's literally just it's just like, if it will get some hair, but you can't get any preamp distortion on this channel.
So when you came in, we were on the other channel or this one?
The lead channel there, the one that is voiced for Brent Hinds.
Okay.
You know.
Have you guys done that before with just nothing, with no EQ on a channel before?
Yeah, on the Rocker 30 was like that, and when we discontinued it, we had to discontinue it because it was a UK-made tube amp, and it was popular, but there was a limit to what we could sell it for because it was a 1x12 tube combo. Yeah. You know, it was seen as in a price point. And it was tough to hit that price point, and we weren't making any money on it, so we had to discontinue it. You know.
Do you want to show us any other sounds in this? Should we hear the natural channel, or?
Yeah. How much headroom do you have on your input? Because
Chris will ride the knob for us.
Okay.
Sounds nice.
That's sort of roughly 3. If I crank it, it's going to get loud, so you might have to take a little off.
So it didn't. I mean,
84 distortion. There cannot, in its very nature, there cannot be any preamp distortion on that channel.
And the thing is, even I was expecting it to be way louder. It was louder. I mean, I don't have built-in, decibel measure in my ears, but it mostly just kind of got richer and bigger, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to dial in any other sounds, or should we switch to the Rocker 15 Terror?
Let's switch to that.
All right, so now we're looking at the Rocker 15 Terror, and the first question that comes to my mind is, I mean, it looks like a Terror, like I think you mentioned before we were rolling, that they're like, both these heads are 1.5 inches wider, longer, whatever.
Roughly.
But I mean, they're basically Terrors. But I mean, does the rocker part of the name is that supposed to tell us that the voicing is related to the Rocker series at all?
Yeah, it is. It's exactly the same amp. It's the Rocker 15 combo in a Terror head. The electronics of the circuit.
How does that compare to just like the tiny Terror voicing? Is it pretty similar? Or?
Well, this has got a 3-stage channel combined with a 1-stage channel, combined with a tube buffered effects loop. So it's all tube, even the effects loop, and you can foot switch between the channels.
And did the Brent Hinds have an effects loop too?
Yeah. Yeah. And they've both got the bedroom headroom switch on the back, and that's a little slider switch which takes it down to 1 watt or half a watt. So if you're on half power on the front, it goes down to
You can go from 15 to 7 to 1 to half?
yeah, exactly that.
So you've got it going on the dirty channel now, almost noon on the knobs, right?
Well, yeah, a little bit over on the gain there, but yeah, it's quite a different voicing.
So you've spent a lot of time with both these new amps. How would you describe the difference in a nutshell?
Well, the gain on this, as you turn it up, it's clean. There's no real heavy biasing of upper mid adding, There's a little bit of treble added, but it's really fine.
Are you saying like the EQ on the Brent Hinds changes a little bit as you
the gain
as you bring up the gain?
It comes in fierce upper mid band, and then it's distorting here, and it just gets springy here, and then starts to fatten up past here until it gets in the swamp there, kind of thing, Whereas the Rocker 15 starts off clean.
Yeah.
Then it starts to go into smooth sort of British crunch.
Yeah.
Then it gets probably heavily saturated when you turn it up without the sound or the tightness really changing too much. So if you got the gain all the way up on this, if you floor the gain for me, it will stay tight.
Sounds cool. So what you're saying is basically Brent kind of wanted a little more give and sag, and
yeah, there was certain things he wanted that he was used to.
Get a little fat
he wanted
and
him to do a few things that he'd grown accustomed to over his many years of playing, so yeah, it was quite an interesting thing. I got it first time. He was happy first time, so that was good.
Sweet. How much are they going for?
These, I think, you'll have to check with the sales guys on this.
Roughly, it's kind of in the same range as Terror heads tend to go for?
Yeah, probably a little more because they're the channel switching ones,
Okay.
I'd say ballpark $600.
Okay.
Ballpark. I don't think I'm going to be too far out.
Okay. Now,
I really should discuss with the sales guys.
well, it's close enough. It's early in the process. People can go to the website. We'll tell them that later. Now, the last thing that's new for you guys is the new cabs, right?
Yeah, these are vertical 2x12s, and let me just put that on standby because the gain's flat out. Not that it's actually pretty quiet for an amp with the gain flat out.
So are they staggered array or just like?
They are, yes. They are G12 Creamback Neo Celestians.
So they're lighter.
Very lightweight. Actually really good sounding. And then we've reduced the thickness of the ply to 15mm birch from 18, and it's open back. So they're very manageable cabs,
Oh, open back.
Yeah, they're open back.
That's kind of, you guys usually have sealed back ones for your extension cabs, right?
No, we do an open back 2x12, which that's been around for a while. That's vintage 30s, open back, traditional, wider than it's high. And then the verticals, we tried a lot of different configurations. We even did one out of solid pine, and the 15mm birch sounded better than the solid
while you were
pine.
prototyping and stuff, and you liked the birch better.
And we tried a lot of different speakers in it as well. And
Because a lot of time pine cabs are in more like old school sort of tweed or Fender style amps. Did you feel like the birch was just better for the punch and everything?
I was just trying things out.
Yeah. You ended up going with the birch because of...
We made a pine one, and the weight wasn't that much different because the pine had to be 18mm for stability because it's not the strongest wood. So it had to be 18mm, and then when we got the 15mm birch against the 18mm pine, the weight was within a kilogram. Between a pound, a couple of pounds, it was like it was really close,
negligible.
But the 18mm birch, we blind tested it. I'd blind tested myself with it and got a colleague to swap things out without telling me, and I always picked that, and I wasn't the only one. So,
okay. How much are the cabs going for? You guys have that set yet?
They won't be the cheapest cabs because they are UK made, because that speaker's UK made.
Yeah. In a ballpark, or should we just tell people to go to the website?
I didn't want to put a cheaper version in.
Yeah.
Because that particular speaker, the Creamback Neo, has gathered quite a lot of momentum among guitar players, and people that just buy speakers and swap them out themselves in gear they've got just because they want to try stuff out. It's become a good way of reducing weight on some amps as well, and people like the speakers, so I didn't want to put I was offered a cheaper version by Celestion of different variations on it, and then we could have made it in China then, which would have made it a lot cheaper and lighter, because the Chinese ply is lighter than our UK ply, but I really wanted to use that speaker because people like it.
Now, were a lot of these choices based on this cab being kind of intended specifically for these two heads?
No, that was just a happy accident, really, that we had
Just
the cab.
looking for a really good cab.
We were asked for vertical 2x12s. We got some people that own these and stand them up on end, so it was something we were being asked for a lot, and it takes up less stage footprint for smaller shows, and so but it was weird. It took me a while to the first sample was closed back and it had vintage 30s in it, and I didn't like it.
That's open sounding.
I didn't like the sound of it. It just didn't sound
three-dimensional.
Yeah. It didn't have that. So there was a few different things we tried with port-in and slot port-in and open back and different ways to split the back up and stuff.
Are you guys still working out the price then, or?
Yeah, that's going to have to be confirmed.
Okay. So we'll just tell people to go online and check it out. By the time the video is edited and online, we have so many from the show that maybe it'll be up there.
The price will be up. I mean, because these are shipping now, so the price will be easily.
Cool. Well, Adrian, thanks for joining us.
Great stuff.
It sounded really good. And guys, thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Hammond from PremierGuitar.com, and we want you to go to, what's the website you want them to go to?
OrangeAmps.com.
Sweet. Later, guys.